Greetings to you. I am Elijah Muhammad, the preacher of freedom, justice, and equality. To my poor people, the so-called American Negro in North America, today we want every ear to listen to what is said on this recording that is designed for this broadcast today throughout America. And I hope that every one of my poor black brothers and sisters in America is listening to what we have to say here on this hour. And I hope that you will never forget it. I am in this broadcast asking you to open your ears and to your eyes to the truth and to the future for yourselves and for your children and my children. We must have a clear knowledge of what is actually going on and what will continue to go on. We must have a clear knowledge of where we stand and where we will stand tomorrow. And I only ask you to listen clearly to what I have to say today and remember it throughout your lives. And remember that I am your brother and your friend. And I am your brother and friend that have been risen up among you by God Almighty to teach you the truth and warn you against other than the truth and people who are designing not a future happiness for yourself, but a future death for yourselves. And I'm warning you against such people. And I hope that you will understand what I'm saying, and I hope that you will unite with me. I'm also asking you to use a good judgment. Unite with me and let us make a stand for ourselves and a stand for our children and our children forever with God on our side, and not to make the foolish mistake that we has made in the past. The brutality, police brutality against the so-called American Negro throughout America, from Gulf to border and from coast to coast, in every city and town and village in America and on the highways of America, we meet with this same enemy, a free force, a free enemy to go about over the country wherever he may find a Negro to try to provoke him in order to pour upon him beatings and death. I say to you, my beloved people of whom I'm really speaking to make up your mind, judge for yourself whether or not that you would like to take care of your own self, unite on your own kind. And I say to you, 100% American, so-called American Negro, the lost and found members of your great nation, the black nation, the original people of the earth, then unite with God and myself. And by all means, you will be able, I say you will be able to take care of yourself in this time of trouble and walk on the right path. It is not a time that you think that is rosy and is now a salvation coming to you for the future in America. It is not that. It is a time of trouble. It is a time of the doom of the world that you and I has known. This is the kind of time that you and me are living in. It is a time of the going out of that which has been known and the coming in of that which you has not known heretofore. I say, open your ears to the brutality of the America's police force. And Los Angeles, you see the brute force there at full force, having no regards for no such thing as justice of even their own law. They are a force that is absolutely free to do the work of a human, absolutely beast, and not a peace officer anymore. They are not looking for peace. They are the troublemakers themselves. This is the thing that you want to understand. This is the thing that have caused all of the trouble in L.A., Los Angeles, California, here last week and this week. This is the thing. It is not the poor black people out there in Los Angeles that is causing this trouble. It is that bloodthirsty white policemen who want to destroy the black man's blood out there in the sands of Los Angeles streets and elsewhere that he can find it. It is a mad force of the white man throughout America that desires not only to kill and destroy Muslims, but a desire to destroy all black people throughout America, regardless to whether you are on their side or not, just so long as you are black Negro, as you are called. They would like to show you how much they hate you today. Hatred and anger has come upon these people. They are mad, and their only cry and hope now is to get rid of the Negro through every means that they possibly can, even to taking the so-called American Negro and trying to show him under a false pretense that they want to be his friend in order to make the Negro fall into their false show of friendship to get rid of him. Get rid of him soothly through a pill. Stop his increase for the future to come. Stop him with integration. Intermarry with us so that we can swallow you up like that. And if not, outright kill you. Try and provoke him so that we can have an excuse to kill him. This is going on throughout America at this very minute that I'm speaking. I want you, my beloved people, who are my brother, and I'm your brother, who have come through all of the white man's evil, brute forces against us from the time we were born on this soul up until this hour. Don't tell me, you poor, foolish Uncle Toms, white man's boot lickers, that you can get along with this people in peace. Your grandparents who were Uncle Toms in slavery, they didn't even do so. Here you are, a modern Tom today, going around speaking to your people to try to get them to see as you see it, like a fool, to try and make love and become the brothers and the friends of white people, while that they are on you, stamping you under their feet, beating you down in the streets, hauling you into their prison houses all over the country, and outright shooting you for nothing. These are the type of people that we have in our midst. The Uncle Toms are great lovers to destroy their own blood and their nation's blood into the blood of our 400-year-old enemies. These are the type of people that today refuses to come and sit down and even try and unite and establish a concrete leadership for the poor black man out there in the mud, suffering under every evil condition that the white people can think of to pour upon him. This is the kind of poor leadership. I'm quite sure that the white people say that the Negro don't have a leadership. I declare to you, I'm your leader if you will accept me. I declare to you that I will stand up until death take me away if it pleases Allah. God has made me your leader. God is my guide and God is my protection, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praises is due forever, who have the power to protect you and me and deliver us from the hand of this open enemy, as the Holy Quran teaches us. It has come to the point where we must decide one way or another. Hearing all of the schoolings that we have gotten of the white slave masters' children of our parents, it does no good. He have no respect for his own education. He have no respect for his free slave, who have shown in every respect and walk of life that he was the most loyal slave that any people ever had on the face of the earth, who wanted to give up his life for the life of his master. This is what is going on in Americas among the black man today, and has been going on among him throughout the ages. That this particular poor black man loves his master, has shown love for him, and has tried to get along with him in peace. But the slave master's children don't want no peace. Not only from him, not even from the world. They want their own kind of condition, peace. They want their own way of life. And they want to deceive the poor black man, not only here in America, but everywhere on the planet Earth. This is a people that we just cannot trust anymore. They are openly showing to us that they are our enemies. For 35 years now, my followers and myself have tried our utmost to get along with the white man in America and teach the religion of peace and be the example of peace. We have never laid hold on weapons to carry, to try to defend ourselves against attack. We never have tried since the very first time that we met with God, and He asked us to design. He asked us to not to carry weapons, not even so much as a penknife. This I have lived, and many of my followers, and most of them that I ever heard or know of, have lived up and obeyed it to the very letter and spirit. We carries nothing of the kind that you could consider carnal weapons. We carry on the truth. And it is this truth that Americans now hate and hope to destroy, and hope to destroy we, the truth bearers that is in her midst. This is what she hates. And call it destruction. Call it a hate teachings. It is nothing but the truth of the white race that we are preaching. They are made manifest by God Himself, according to the Bible, that He would make them manifest in the last days. He has been made manifest. And this manifestation of them on self have now angered them to the extent that they hopes now to destroy the Negro in America, and especially the Muslim. We have walked the earth in humbleness for 35 years. We have obeyed their law. We have never made any attack of aggressions upon no white man. This is true. We have tried with our utmost to treat white people right and not do anything to them that we would not have done unto ourselves. In Phoenix last year, I had a meeting, at least the officials of California wanted to come over and talk with me and see what I had in mind in case if Malcolm's aggressive talk would lead into a revolution, would I take part on Malcolm's side? I told them no. I would not take part on a hypocrite's side. Malcolm was a hypocrite. No Muslim, not to think of a leader, would accept a hypocrite to defend, or even to join on his side. We don't do that. We are not that type of people to accept hypocrites for our friends. This they was well told there last year and in my own house in Phoenix. And that they wanted to know. They wanted to go through my house and search it to see whether or not I had arms in it. I opened my doors and room, basement, told them to go ahead and look in this house and see if you find anything. They claimed that they had heard that there was a catchet in my house, that of arms, and they wanted to go through to see whether or not this was true. I think it was something they had in mind themselves and not that they actually heard nothing of the kind. But however, I live up to the weight of God that I will not carry no weapon. He is sufficient for my defense. Now, we have come to the very limit in patience. We have come to the limit in endurance with the people that is bent upon our destruction, destroy us, and whatever we goes for of the truth and righteousness. You can't be righteous in America. You cannot even live at peace with the white man of America. There is no peace in his very nature. He is a troublemaker. He is a warrior. He is a bloodshedder from the very beginning, as Jesus teaches you and me in the Bible in John the 8th and 44. He's not one to be taken as a peaceful person. He only deceives you under this kind of talk. For 35 years, I repeat, we have tried to live in peace here with these people. And today, we are far off as we was when we started. Sitting, trying to be neutral, or trying to be ourselves as we preach. Righteous Muslims we are. Cannot be enjoyed by every troublemaker lurking around to provoke some kind of act against us, to make us feel that we should defend ourselves so that he can get a chance to mow you down whether you have anything like weapons or not. Only wants any excuse to come with loaded weapons upon his body so heavy that he can hardly get around himself, to kill the literalist people without any weapons whatsoever. Then he got over such act as being a brave act to defend himself and his kind against that poor so-called Negro standing out there laying in the sand bleeding from his weapons, because that he had nothing. If he had been well armed with the same type of weapon, it would not have been the same. But he have no weapon. He's not the manufacturer of weapons. He can't buy equal weapons. Now, here is a big show. 5 or 6 well-armed police officers or National Guards standing around a poor one unarmed Negro lying on the ground, breathing in the pains of his wounds inflicted upon him by the well-armed police and National Guards that has been inflicted upon him for no other reason than that they hate the very looks of a black Negro. They are mad. That time has come, as it is written, that These people are mad. They are very angry. Because it is the time that the Negro should stand up, as it is given in the Revelation, that it is time of the dead that they should be judged justly and righteous. But he knows these times. The American white man knows the time is right that you and me should come to the knowledge of the truth. And he hopes to destroy us, as the 12th chapter of the Revelation also give. As soon as you come to that knowledge, he hopes to destroy you. And those words used there, as soon as the baby is born, he stands ready to destroy. You must remember, my beloved black brothers and sisters, this is only referring to you and me. As soon as you are born into the knowledge of the truth, he hopes to deceive you so that you will not accept the truth. Hopes to deceive you so that you will not take away to your own salvation, but to follow him to your doom. I say, I'm warning you in the name of Allah to be very careful. Be very careful of turning us down. We are your friends. I am your friend. I have been born and I have been made the divine leader for you. Accept me and live. Reject my leadership and die. I'm not afraid whether I live or die. This is up to Allah. Whether I live or die, I trust in him. My hopes is stayed in him. And if he wants to sacrifice my life here in this evil old bloody world, it's up to him. I will yet say that all praises is due to him, the Lord of the worlds. I want you to know that this act of going out, attacking our mosque in LA was not the first time. In 1962, the police department, under the guidance of that evil Parker and the mayor of the city of LA, sent an army of police against our mosque to shoot it up and to kill Negroes who claimed who thought they was Muslim. They came upon us like swarms of wild beasts from the jungle and ran in our mosque, shooting down every unarmed Muslim that they met with, killing them, wounding them for life. Some of them today is paralyzed forever, and rolling himself up and down LA streets in a rolling chair and in a automobile that I bought for it, that just fits his condition. There is this sign of what actually that the Los Angeles Police Department wanted to do for us, and what they followed up with after we had come through here this week, come through the worst and the greatest part of the attack out there on the other darker people of ours, brothers and sisters. We stood neutral and taking no part in either way. But they was not satisfied with our peaceful stand, and I knew that this was only trial for them, to show my own people that they cares nothing about you humbling yourself to them or trying to be neutral and not to make no attack either way. This was a good example for you to see that these brute forces cares nothing about you being neutral, cares nothing about you trying to be humble in their midst, cares nothing about you being innocent. He don't care nothing about the innocent no more than he cares for the guilty. His only evil intention is to get rid of the Negro in any way that he possibly can, and especially he would like to get rid of him in death. Here they goes and attacked our temple there. and shoots it up, claims that someone shot at them from the mosque, but never has produced actually the person that shot at them nor a gun. They found no gun in the mosque. This is the proof that we does not resort to carnal weapons. They didn't like to leave us there without doing some harm or killing some of us, whether we was doing anything harmful or not. This is all false that we shot at them. They know it's false. They can't prove that false. Then they hauls down 52 of my followers and put them in jail. For what? 52 people had shot at them? No. This is all they wanted to do, claiming that they had now brought the city in calm and in peace, and they must go. But the National Guards and the police of Los Angeles just couldn't leave the Muslims there from starting something with them or trying to kill them. They tried to provoke us and could not. So they just goes then and shoots up their own brother's building. We didn't own the building, or we don't own the building, but was trying to buy it. And they set it on it, pulls 500 bullets, they said, through it, and then made mark of it, that they shot it up, and it looks like Swiss cheese. This is to tell you and me how happy they are to do evil to the black man, how happy they are to try and get rid of the Muslim. I said to Americans, this is a step to her doom. I said to Americans that from the government in Washington all the way to the coast, or either way you may take it, wherever the power of the United States is at or exercised, we Muslims, they want to kill. They want to get rid of it. But I say killing the Muslims in America only is inviting your near doom. It's only invited. We have the power of heaven and earth on our side. This is only a offer to you to get you into plenty trouble. We don't care what you want to do for us, but we will make a stand for ourselves and inviting our brothers throughout America, whether you believe in Islam or not. I say we are inviting you to join in with us and let us take a stand for ourselves. Say there is no justice for us, there is no help for us in this nation. We must remember that we must try now to defend ourselves against a free, loose army roaming the highways and the streets of the cities and towns of America to kill us. Assalamu alaikum. What's going on in Los Angeles today? It is a trial of my followers before the courts of the infidels and before the people that have proven themselves enemies of my fathers and myself and all of my people, the darker people of earth. They have proven themselves openly that they are the enemies of black man. And they have proven that they are against the Negro in America from becoming a Muslim. Therefore, they stand in the way of the converting of the Negro into Islam in America. My time is now about up to half an hour is up. And so I will continue this broadcast on the same subject next week at the same hour, if permitted. I thank you who has been listening. May the peace and the blessing of Almighty God be with you, as I say unto you in the Arab greetings. Assalamu alaikum. Why shouldn't we want to go from a people who lynch and burn us? Why shouldn't we want to go from a people who every night we can see our own brother out there falling under the blows of so-called peace officers and falling at the bullet from his gun, from left
seen police go and fetch one of our people to try and make him say something so that they can get a chance to beat him or kill him. I know that to be fact. You say that you want to help us. Help us where? Help us to do what? If you don't want to help us to leave you with a good send-off, then what are you going to help us to do if we stay here? You want us to stay here, as the Bible teaches us in you. You want to hold us as a prey. That's all. And again, symbolically, it says in Daniel that the beast had 3 ribs of a man in his mouth that he saw rise up on the water. We must remember this symbolic picture must be interpreted, understood. If he had 3 ribs in his mouth of a man, what man had he yet? The beast is a picture of our enemy. Our enemy is just like a wild, vicious beast who always is ready to pounce upon us and destroy our lives. Like a wild beast. I have lived with you all my life. I was born in the South. I have looked upon evil treatment of our people day and night and have shedded tears for it many old times. No justice whatsoever. I have seen my own people knocked down and kicked about just because they asked for a fair settlement. And I have heard your own brother in the South say to them, you take what I say. You don't figure behind me, nigger. You don't want to be made known your evil to us. Done to us in the past and our present. Why? Because you have some bootlickers out there and they are crazy about you and you want to keep them like that. You should be ashamed of yourself today to lynch and kill so-called Negroes while you have an army full of Negroes here and there all over the earth, helping you to fight and protect and maintain the government that you want. You should be ashamed of it. Especially when that same slave, father, slave for your father, for nothing. And now you will go and take him before your own judges and there give him an unjust judgment. This is a shame thing. Do you think that you are going to get away with it forever? If God Almighty help upon me, help that the old clay pots in the time of Nebuchadnezzar and Belshazzar was sacred to his house, that he would bring a punishment upon these 2 kings that should go down in the history as a warning to the nation and kings that would come after these 2. If those clay vessels, or golden vessels, or silver vessels, were sacred in the eyes of God in those days, that he destroyed the power of rule of Nebuchadnezzar and put him as a disgrace among beasts. And Belshazzar was killed outright for taking that same vessel, pouring wine, intoxicating drinks in it, and making mark of the vessel as being a sacred vessel to God. He turned his kingdom over to other rulers. He divided his kingdom in between 3 different people. Do you think now that after 400 years of destroying, making blind, deaf, and dumb, This people that you call Negroes are slang, which means something hard, something life, something that is neutral. It don't know how to go for itself. It is not either this nor that. It's a neutral thing. That you can mistreat them and get away with it for 400 years, frying their flesh in the fire, shooting them down at will all over the country, making a mark of God's protection for them. Do you think that God would sleep forever and allow you to treat these people like that? Recently, in Los Angeles, on the 27th of May, 75 police came over to kill all that they could of my followers in March number 27. Think over that. 75 police is well armed with all kinds of shooting weapons, chains, and start shooting point blank at unarmed people who were not able to even strike back with a club. And you sit silently and laugh under your sleeve, say you should have killed all of them Negroes. Do you think that you are going to get away with it? I say you're gravely mistaken if you think that you are going to kill us and get away with it. We have been put here as a dare for God to get a chance to fight you. We know that we're going to lose a few, but we know that God's going to kill all of you.
Who were lost here in the Western Hemisphere 400 years ago, brought in here and were sold as slaves and were put in chains, worked for 300 long years in servitude slave by one John Hawkins, a slave trader of England, who was the first one to bring our fathers into the Western Hemisphere to be made slaves, to do the hard labor for the American white man. They have served him well, and today they are still, in the eyes of the white man, their worst enemies. They beat and they kill the Negro day and night throughout the country of Americas. This so-called American Negro, the lost and found member of the tribe of Shabazz, suffers night and day at the hand of his once slave master's children. Now today, Allah, the Almighty God of the universe, decided to choose this people to be his people, and he to be their God, and is now calling them by his name, and has said to me that he would avenge the American so-called Negro of that evil, that injustice done to them by their slave master and his children. The day the end of their time of serving this people has come, and the God of heaven and earth, whose proper name is Allah, is seeking freedom, justice, and equality for the so-called American Negro. Then universal corruption, universal war, troubles, disasters coming upon the nation. It is due, number one, because of the end of such corruption to be replaced by justice and freedom and equality. This world that we are now living in must suffer some of the consequence that she has given to others. The continuously beating and killing the so-called American Negro without any just cause whatsoever, as she did to my followers in Los Angeles, as you know. Today, yourself, there was no just cause for her to go in. Hamas there, shooting down 6 men there who was unarmed, whom they had at their mercy, and could have arrested them, taken them to court if they had did any evil. Since they was unarmed, they wanted to do anything that they thought that they would be justified in doing if they saw that the people, my followers, was fighting them with their naked hands, if they had been doing such. But they wasn't even doing that. They had their clubs. They could have used them. But no, they used both clubs and guns on poor little defenseless Muslims. Muslims that had nothing to fight back with but their hand and the word of God. Stood helpless before their gunfire, shooting them down at point blank for nothing. Absolutely nothing, only just because they hate Muslim and because they hate the preachings of freedom, justice, and equality to the so-called American Negro. They hate the idea of anything coming to the Negro of good. And therefore they do these evils to frighten the other Negroes, to keep them from coming to receiving their own salvation. Frighten them away from the color of good, the color of salvation to his people. That's all it was did for, just because that they was Muslim, as the whole of Quran teach you. This particular people must taste the evil that their own hands has wrought. One police claimed that he shot all of them, in a way of speaking. He know he shot down some 4 or 5 others, boasting that he shot them down at point blank. Nobody was bothering him. He just wanted to kill Negroes, as he has always, and his fathers and his fathers' fathers have loved to do. Kill the poor innocent Negro, just to see him fall dead, and go and rejoice over it. And the government, who holds authorities and power over all of her citizens, sit down and act as though she's deaf, and act as though she have not eyes to see when it comes to the hurt of the poor so-called American Negro. She cares nothing about it at all. Don't even speak a word in his favor. The priest, the preacher, the church throughout the land never say nothing about coming to the defense of the so-called American Negro. I mean white preachers, not black preachers, white preachers, white priestess. They all hate the so-called American Negro and never have this white lily Christian religion come to the aid of the so-called American Negro against his ever murderous enemies. So that they allow decide to bring some of this on your own head that you're putting out on the head of innocent people by raising up enemies from afar and from near to let you taste some of your evil done to your innocent slaves who is crying today to Allah for mercy, for protection against an open, loose, prowling enemy walking around day and night, killing poor little innocent, defenseless black people, whom the government's courts will not defend against their own kind. No, they will not even listen to the case, as they today are ever preparing false excuses for what they done to my followers in L.A. Preparing false statements to try to make their own evil open universally known evil and murder of this people, my followers, for no other reason than that they was Muslims. They want now to put the charge on the one that they killed, that they was trying to kill them, that they was doing this in self-defense, though the poor man lying in death had nothing but his hands, and didn't even raise them, shot down just in cold blood. Do you think that the God of justice will forever allow you to go on killing poor innocent people like that, who are at your feet? They're already at your mercy. And the people whom you have already spoiled, you and your fathers. And now today, you desire to continue the stroke upon them as the Bible teaches, and whose jails are now filled with them. They're crying to Allah for mercy, for deliverance. Allah will have mercy on us. Allah will deliver us. Allah will repay our enemies, as it is written, for their evils done to us. All of this, we must remember that these things must come to pass regardless to who or what. We hear of wars and wars and wars coming. They're on the way. Evil is determined against this people. Trouble is ever now ringing in the ears of the people. As Jesus prophesied that it would come, a time of trouble, as never was, since there was a nation and never shall be the like afterwards. Men, eyes going away in their homes, for looking at the great troubles coming upon their nation. Their hearts failing them with fear over these things that they see coming upon them. These things is now approaching. These things is fashioning themselves in our eyes and in our ears, and it cannot be denied that it must come to pass. Must come to pass. Why? Because it's an evil that the American people should suffer the consequence for what they have done to us, the poor so-called American Negro. They have killed us without even showing any sign of regret, but have laughed over the murder of the poor so-called American Negro, have carried his dead ears in the pocket around to show, look, I killed a Negro, as though he had killed a lion or something that was destroying his people. No, it was just a poor little defenseless slave that he owned. And he acts as though he was an aggressor from abroad that had jumped over his borders and had killed several members of his family. No, he rejoiced in killing innocent people. Now the Lord, the God of heaven and of earth, decide to send his own enemies now against them. Kill your enemies if you want to kill. Busy yourself in trying to slaughter those who will be after you, to slaughter you, instead of having sport of killing the poor slave who is absolutely helpless in your hand, shooting him down like rabbits or any other wild game, though he is already yours and is at your mercy day and night. But so wicked your heart are that you shoot him down, you beat him up and make mock of him, laugh at him, use him for sport. Oh, praise is due to Allah. Justice must come. We must have justice. And our enemies must be repaid for what they have done to us of evil. Today we suffer from these things, and for this cause Allah has come. And for this evil done to us, the enemy of war is standing now, staring at you, even at your borders. All of this is the cause of your evils done to your poor, helpless, and defenseless slaves. You should know these things. Let us take a look at the 30th surah, a chapter of the Holy Quran, and the 41st verse of that chapter, which reads like this: corruption has appeared in the land and sea on account of that which men's hands have wrought, that he may make them taste a part of that which they have done, so that they may return. This is going on now. The sea is corrupted. The land is corrupted. Universal corruption both throughout Christendom and even into the Muslim world. There is confusion all over the earth among civilized nations. Even in the heart of Arabia, the Holy Land, there corruption has been carried into that land. There is confusion. There is war going on there. Throughout the world of mankind today, war, disagreement, trouble, and death awaits them all. Here today, we see these things coming to pass. We can't help but to remember this memorable verse of the 30th surah of the Holy Quran, our chapter. A corruption has appeared in the land and sea, as though that it was in the days of Muhammad. How wise, how great, and how knowing the writer, the receiver, the giver in those days. To see these things coming upon us today, near 1400 years later than the time that it was received and written. Yet today we see these things coming to pass. The sea filled with all kinds of deadly weapons, laden ships with such weapons to destroy and send to the bottom of the ocean other human beings. There lying undersea craft, deadly weapons to destroy men and men, destroy each other from the face of the earth. For what? Because of disagreement and because of the love of shedding blood. And therefore the sea is corrupted and is filled with trouble, dissatisfaction into the heart of man, has caused all of these things to come about. Great boats floating at sea to kill one another. Yet today we see these things coming closer and closer to each other for a final destruction of both. And here in America, everybody that is with eyes, they see, they know America's sin. They know America's evil. We are the victims of America's evils. 20 million so-called American Negroes are the victims of America's evil. The God of heaven today wishes to justify the Negro and wishes to take revenge upon the Negroes, slave masters' children, for their evils that they continue to do to the so-called American Negro, of whom some of them today wishes to deceive the American so-called Negro with false friendship, false promises. All of that is evil continues. It is just as good to go ahead and be yourself and continue to kill and beat and do that which is in your heart than to go to work to try to deceive the same victim with false promises and with false friendship that you know by nature you don't have for that poor so-called Negro. Corruption everywhere. There is no such thing as that we can deny these facts. that the whole world today is corrupted, and that we must remember that God Almighty is taking steps to erase this type of thing from the face of the earth. Whether we like it or not, He's taking steps to do it. And He will please Himself whether we are pleased or not. The next verse of that same surah or chapter of the Holy Quran, or its second verse, it reads like this, which is to warn the present troublemakers, murderers, war, and the makers of war, and the lovers of war, the lovers of injustice instead of justice. It says to them as a warning, travel in the land, then see what was the end of those before. Most of them were polytheists. Most of them were disbelievers in Allah. Most of them were evildoers like yourself. And is a warning to you. Allah said, travel and see what happened to them when they displeased us. Go look at the ground where what Sodom and Gomorrah was, and see for yourself what we did to those people who displeased us. We removed them, and their place has not yet been inhabited anymore. Even the site of where their buildings was once, their glory. Today, we have not allowed no one to build on that plot of ground since the destruction of that wicked, as a sign that no one shall never build a civilization like yours anymore. Your kingdom, your way of life shall be removed, and no one shall practice it in the hereafter. Your name shall be cut off forever, and your way of civilization forever. There shall be no more practicing of your way of civilization after you're gone. This is the sign that Allah wants you to read. You don't see nothing of them left. Look at the people of Noah. What happened to them? They should serve as a sign. They were people, the Holy Quran says, that did not please Allah. And when it pleased Allah, He destroyed them. So it is with you today. Allah is not pleased with you, and He wishes to destroy you from the face of the earth, because you have not shown any mercy, any justice to the poor man in the mud, your poor slave. I have been crying and asking for separation, not integration with you, but separation. Let us have a place to ourselves. Take my people and myself and help them to go for themselves. That will end. You're mistreating them when they're out from among you. But no, you would like that they stay so that you can mistreat them. You would like that they stay and not give them nothing but the opportunity to work for you whenever that you need them. And whenever you don't have a job for them, send them home to go to the soup line or break line. Make them to suffer day and night for the want of the necessity of life. I'm begging you to let us go and build for ourselves, and let us separate from you and all of this war and dissatisfaction going on between you and your brethren, because of us in your presence, will be over with. Travel in the land and see what happened to the people of Noah, the people of Sodom and Gomorrah. Go down to the Red Sea and see what happened to an evil slave master people that was here 4,000 years ago. Go look at the tomb. Go look at the coffin. Go look at in the coffin, at the coffin of that king today in Egypt, whom Allah calls the sea to spew up and float out to his bank, that you may see today what his own power did for a ruler 4,000 years ago because he mistreated some poor helpless slaves. He destroyed his army. He destroyed the king. And he delivered the people that he went after as a sign of what he will do in the future. I said to you, that is this. Actual facts, actual truth should be given to you. You should know what and why that trouble is coming to you today. You should know why that Allah is against you. We cannot hide it. We must know the truth. We must know that Allah is angry with the wicked today. And we must point out those who are wicked. We must point out those who is against justice for the so-called Negro. When Allah went after Israel in Egypt, he went after with a strong hand. So I said to you, of my people, the 43rd verse of the same chapter reads like this: Then set thyself, being upright, to the right religion, before there come from Allah the day which cannot be avoided. On that day they will be separated. On that day they will be separated, the so-called Negro and his slave master. This is the time that you should be separated from your slave master. And you should set yourself up to a religion, a right religion, a religion in the right state, a religion that is according to the nature in which Almighty God created us in. That is the right religion, a religion in which Allah give and Allah approve, a religion to the very nature in which we are made. That is the right religion, a religion approved by God Almighty, not a religion that is organized by you or I or others, but a religion that is with God and came with God, a religion that have no birth record as God have no birth record, so is his religion. So I said to you, set yourself up to a religion that is in the right state, a religion that Allah approved, before there come to you a day which that you won't have the chance to choose between death and life. I thank you. Go and accept Islam. Come follow me and fly with me to Allah, that you may be saved.
And there you have it. How did you feel when you came out of the wilderness fighting for your freedom? I think that's an appropriate number to use as a musical introduction to Minister John Shabazz. Good morning, sir.
How are you feeling, Mrs. Day?
Fine, thank you, sir. And now, we don't have much time, but I want to talk to you about the disposition of the case in Los Angeles when some of your fellow brethren were injured and one, I believe, was killed. What happened to that case?
Well, at the present time, 10 have been found guilty of various acts of resisting arrest by force and violence, and they have sentences ranging from 1 to 5 to 1 to 10 years.
Oh, my goodness.
But they're out on appeal bond. We are appealing, and also since that time, 6 of the jurors involved in the case have admitted that there was pressure brought to bear upon them to render the guilty verdict.
Oh.
And so we're going in. Our lawyers are preparing a writ, or have prepared a writ, that we're going to submit also.
Well, now tell me this. Exactly what happened? Naturally, we have read about it in the papers, and Minister Malcolm X, I believe, just about this time last year was on our program telling us something about it. But since you were actually there, tell us what happened on that evening.
Well, actually, as we attempted to leave the mosque, we were met by a hail of gunfire. We had no idea what had happened. Later, we found that a block away from the mosque, there had been an investigation, supposedly routine, of 2 men who were handling clothing, who were Muslims. One worked for cleaners, and he was giving clothes to the other who had his clothes in the cleaners. And the police began to abuse them, and they started an altercation, and a call went out. One of the policemen went to his radio, called for cars or help for an officer at 57th and Broadway. The mosque is located at 56th and Broadway, and all of the cars, according to their own admission on the witness stand, went immediately to the mosque, and none of them ever went to the scene that they were called to. And upon arriving, the mosque had dismissed, and most of the Muslims were gone, but some of them were still coming in and out of the building. And they immediately drove up and began firing. And they came in the mosque, ransacked the mosque, shot all inside the mosque, destroyed certain records, and we were arrested and charged with resisting arrest. The man who was killed was the secretary of the mosque.
Yes, I
And he heard the shot, he went outside to determine what the trouble was. And when he saw the officers firing the gun, he walked up to one and began to question him about the shooting. And the officer, Donald L. Weiss, turned and fired. And as he turned, Stokes threw up his hands to let him know that he was not, being belligerent or anything. So he held his hands up in surrender, and this man fired on him.
shot him anyway.
Right, and the coroner's jury, of course, called it justifiable homicide.
And yet he was not armed in any way.
No, none of the men were armed. And they admitted on the witness stand that they began with the roof. And they searched the roof of the mosque all the way down to the bottom. And they didn't find anything that could even be remotely construed as a weapon.
Oh, my goodness. And if I'm vaguely now remembering some of the things that Minister Malcolm X told us last year, that some of your men, after they had been taken into custody and were lying, I believe, on the ground, were shot as they laid there.
No, one was shot as he came out of the mosque. Another officer in the mosque came outside, and the bullets were flying around him, so he dove for the ground. And as he lay there, he was shot. So then when he attempted to rise, an officer ran up and stuck a gun in his face, and he grabbed his hand. And as they grappled, this officer began to knee him in the groin where he had been shot. Then the officer managed to pull the trigger and put a bullet completely through his body, a quarter-inch from his heart. Then after the men were shot, and they lay on the sidewalk, including Ronald Stokes, we have a picture which we're going to show tomorrow night in Newark, New Jersey.
Oh, that's right. You'll be speaking there.
Right, at Muhammad's Mosque number 25 at 257 South Orange Avenue at 8 o'clock tomorrow. And we have a picture showing the hole that was beaten in Ronald Stokes' head after he had been shot, handcuffed on the ground, then he was beaten. And this is what happened to all of the men. They were shot, then handcuffed, and then beaten.
Well, this then would explain why the entire Negro community closed ranks and offered support, strong support, for your group at that time, led by the ministers. Is this not true?
This is true. And also, the national offices of most of the civil rights groups are here in New York. And telegrams were sent by Farmer and Wilkins and all of the others. And do you know that not one of the daily papers in Los Angeles, not one of the radio stations, and not one television channel ever revealed that any telegrams of support were sent by the national offices? But they continued to try and pretend that only the local offices of these groups were protesting.
I see. Well, now, this then is indicative of the atmosphere in which the Negro community in Los Angeles must live. There is not much difference between that and Birmingham, is it?
None whatsoever. In fact, the reaction when the Negro community rose up, the reaction was not to try and sit down and counsel with them, but the reaction was to triple the police in the Negro neighborhood. And it remains so to this day.
Well, now tell me this. At least in Los Angeles, I would imagine that with such a large Negro population, they could bring pressure to bear through economics, but also through political activity. Are they active politically?
Yes, they are active politically. In fact, since that time, they, for the first time, elected 3 Negro city councils. And this was looked upon as a protest. Also, there was another Negro who was being sponsored by the mayor of the city.
Yes.
Who was defeated and who was washed out in the primary so resoundingly that it was almost as if he hadn't run. So they are registering their protest in every manner that they can.
Well, does not the mayor of that city, or is it the police director, have a Negro woman as an aide who was upgraded during all of this?
Yes. It was the mayor, and he had a Negro woman who was upgraded because he had her to try and go and collect some Negroes who he could construe as leaders who would attack the Muslims. But she couldn't find any, but he upgraded her anyway. Well, actually, eventually, she wound up getting fired. And now they're trying to make some means to hire her back, but she got fired.
Well, Minister John Shabazz of Los Angeles, it was our pleasure to chat with you. I'm sorry that our plans got crossed and we could not devote more time to you. But I think the audience, this will answer the questions of many who have called in from time to time, wanting to know the disposition of this case. Now, in the event that they want to help your group in this, I imagine, long and costly court fight, what can they do?
Yes, they can send contributions directly to Muhammad's Mosque of Islam, number 2, at 5335 South Greenwood Avenue, Chicago, 15, Illinois.
Now, you better give them that once again.
Right, that's Muhammad's Mosque, number 2, 5335 South Greenwood Avenue, Chicago, 15, Illinois.
Alrighty. Thank you so very much, and I'm sure your fellow brethren will meet you in Newark tomorrow night.
Right, thank you very much.
And there you have it, chat with a young man who has quite a story to tell. Well, dear hearts, we don't have much time, but call us here at Chicory.